I think that one of the things that you need to very much appreciate is and learn is that there are lots of obligations out there. Advisors have lots of obligations. And, you know, frankly, one of the things that does is it makes my job, you know, relatively easy. Just looking at the standards of the industry, the obligation of full disclosure may be the biggest obligation. And there is, you know, what you call hornbook law out there, that if you recommend an investment or you recommend a security or an advisor to someone, you have an obligation to give them a full, fair, and balanced presentation of the facts that you know or should know and of the risk that are involved. And this is counterintuitive to the sales process. It really is. I mean, and it's one of the reasons I encourage documentation, because, look, I put someone on the stand, I'm going to know what all the risks are. And I'm going to first ask them, tell me everything. You told my client, Rich Kessner over here. Please tell me everything, anything that will refresh your recollection. And then I'm going to go through and say, you didn't tell him this, did you? You didn't tell him this, did you? You didn't tell him this, did you? I mean, it is, and it, even if they say they did, I mean, I think most people, it's counterintuitive. I want you to sell you this, but let me tell you all the bad things about it. I mean, look, but honestly, that's what the law says. And you need to be aware of that in trying to protect yourselves against pitfalls. I could probably go on, get into more detail. I hope it's been informative for you and given you at least some food for thought, but I really appreciate your attendance, and I look forward to the rest of the day. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions for Boyd? We have a remote mic floating around. Ellen, do you know where that is by chance? Or? There's a question up front. Yeah.
Roger. Thank you.
Yeah, do you find that your experience that when the market's going up, people are risk takers, and as the market rolls over, people now decide, no, they're really not risk takers?
That's where I think the communication comes in so important. I think what you're saying, and I'll try and, you know, say it another way, is two words that I think have been associated with Wall Street for a long time, both industry-wise and customer-wise, is fear and greed. And I think that, you know, the thing is that certainly when the markets, such as in the 2000, you know, 99, 2000 era, early 2000, it seemed like everybody was, you know, putting in $1 and getting back $5. And I think that it really, you know, I think it played on itself. And do I think that a lot of people were looking at that? Absolutely. No question. I think that the problem arose in that no one stopped to ask, how much risk are you willing to take? And a lot of, I think, the problems that came about when the market crashed, the litigation, centered around that fact. That, again, not that the client may not have wanted, you know, to try and get in on this ride, but that the client never had any idea of the extent of the risk they were taking. And that's the reason that I encourage both sides to really try to always fully explore that. There's no perfect investment, at least that I know of. I mean, are investments that have certainly more strengths than in certain areas than others. But I think that's where the real miscommunication. But what you say, I think absolutely is the case. I mean, I think that during high markets, people are euphoric. They want to get in on it. I think the key is if they appreciate the risk they're taking, then, though, I mean, look, there's no guarantees in the market. And I think you need to understand, I am a great believer of how important the capital markets are. And frankly, I think that when bad things happen out there, it hurts all of you that are honest and doing the right job. I mean, it's scary to think, but when people read about abuses, they start withdrawing from the market. And I don't think that's good for anyone. So, I mean, I really believe that, I think it's essential that, investors be involved. I think that's a fundamental fabric of our system. But I think that, again, it's the kind of thing that we do need to protect the system. And I think we have seen recently that, there was no regulation effectively. And a lot of good people have been hurt. A lot of people in your industry have been hurt. You have been hurt by the fact that we had some people that went out and bet the ranch on something that they knew almost inevitably was going to explode. I think that's a very sad fact. And a lot of people have lost a whole lot of money because of that.